Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Ad Project Podcast. I'm your co-host, Joe Shelerud, and I'm joined by Roger again from Ad Advance. Yeah. So we're following up on our previous conversation. If you didn't have a chance to listen, essentially what we started covering is ChatGPT / OpenAI. They just had a new update where you can purchase directly now within ChatGPT. Currently tied into Etsy, going to be adding Shopify. And they've also developed this new protocol, the Agentic Commerce Protocol, where now other people could essentially set up a feed that can interact with different LLMs. It doesn't have to be ChatGPT. And from there, now you could buy directly within the LLM itself. It takes care of all the transaction data and everything else like that, and kind of the how these two talk to each other for surfacing the purchase to completing the purchase. And then after that point, we really started digging into, all right, the benefits of being the first contact. Like, where's your go-to spot where you're completing product searches, but then just in general, just for interactions and questions and everything else like that. And we also talked through like potential risk to Amazon as being like the go-to spot for product searches and what they've got to do to dig into it. So covered all those items in the previous podcast. So definitely, if those sound interesting, I would check those out. Where we wanted to take this podcast is now it kind of leads us into the advertising side, because it ties into all the user information and insights that you get, and then how can ads be utilized. And so Amazon, it's pretty straightforward right now, like with the retail media ads and everything else like that. But we wanted to start digging into these different LLMs or, different agents as we're going. Like, how could ads be used? Do we see ads being used? What's the pros? What's the cons? So I guess maybe start like what's high level thoughts on, different LLMs, how they're using ads, or how you see them using ads going forward.
Well, I guess the first thing is you just look at LLMs and their positioning, right? And like ChatGPT wants to be a trusted source to go to. And so I think they're going to be slower with innovating on the actual ads, and they're going to innovate in finding ways to monetize without advertising, with the marketplace, with, their instant checkout, I think was a really good way to do that. And I think on the advertising side, we're going to see Facebook and we're going to see Google, because that's what drives their business from the get-go. And, I think Facebook already said that they're going to use your conversation history to serve you targeted ads. I don't think that they're in the conversation yet.
Sure.
But they have inventory outside of the chat window.
And when you read that, you're right now saying, all right, they're getting more information about me when I'm interacting with it.
Yeah.
And so that probably gets into the audience targeting. But then when they're displaying ads, it's going to go to the traditional sources.
Yeah.
So for placements itself, it's not like the ads are showing up within the LLM conversation itself yet.
Yeah. And I think if people stop trusting LLMs to serve them what they asked for, and instead are telling them this product's the best, but it's really because someone paid for them to say that, I think that's crossing the line for users.
Yeah.
So I think where you're going to see is, okay, let's put placements in a traditional ad format, a banner ad in the chat window. Right?
Yeah.
And doing that in a way where it doesn't feel like you're clicking on a news site with 50 ads.
Yeah. Well, one insight that you had that I thought was pretty powerful. Like, if I'm interacting with Gemini and I ask it a question and I say, okay, what's the best 6-person tent for my family?
Yeah.
Probably need a little bit bigger one for my family at this point, but we'll go with that. So what's the best 6-person tent that I need? And it responds back, but it's driven by a sponsored ad.
Yeah.
I immediately lose trust.
Yeah.
And so in the text response, I think it's a lot trickier in including sponsored ads. Like, it's like you would almost have to include like some organic ones and then a couple sponsored ones too.
Yeah.
But what I thought was powerful is, like, if they just show a carousel of products and then have some listed as sponsored, I can see that and I'm immediately, like, it's familiar to me.
Yeah.
And it's not written out like, hey, do this or buy this one, but it's surfacing ones that are both paid and organic. And if done right, they should both meet my needs.
Yeah.
And that doesn't feel as gross to me. Whereas if it was like just straight up text responses, like I feel like it's a lot harder.
Yeah. And I mean, as someone who builds UIs, there's a language of the internet that people are used to. You know, when you see a certain thing, you know, a button, you expect to be able to click on it and there's a different shape. A carousel, you're expecting to have a few sponsored items and then a few unsponsored items. Like that's just how the internet works. And anyone who's used it for and shopped on it at the very least knows that that is fine with that format. So I think that's probably fine and probably where it goes next, even for like ChatGPT with their instant checkout.
Yeah.
Like that's probably where if they're going to add ads, I think that's where they do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the carousel layout, that makes total sense where, all right, if it's not just a text response, but it gives me multiple different options, but some are sponsored.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Like I have multiple different options. I can still see which ones are sponsored. I bet the majority of people won't even notice the difference. Like,
Yeah.
I still have to explain to people to this day that, yep, I'll tell them that I run this agency, and one of the things we do is we do ads on like Amazon and Walmart, and they say there's ads on Amazon and Walmart, and then you go and like point them out. So I bet the same thing would be like a case here. But yeah, and I think that really ties in like for Google itself. Like they're built on offering Google for free and then having ads support that. And so incorporating into Gemini, I think people are well aware of that and see that coming.
Yeah.
I think where it does get a little bit weird though too is the second that OpenAI flips from just a monthly paid subscription to now serving ads.
Yeah.
Do I lose trust or do I start second guessing all the questions I'm asking? And it's funny just talking to people in the office too. And it's like, all right, now your ChatGPT profile, like that has a lot of like personal information. Like that's one thing that you don't want to open up to the rest of the world.
No.
And so I think there's a lot of like user privacy items that are baked into there too. That's going to make it trickier, especially for like ChatGPT, which is all based off of a monthly subscription right now.
Yeah.
To make that move into ads without losing or violating that user trust.
Yeah. And, you know, the nature of the internet and how products exist on it is the biggest whale is advertising. You know, work productivity, which ChatGPT kind of fit into that niche to start with a subscription. That is a big market, but it has nothing in compared to advertising. The biggest tech companies run on advertising. And I think that they will go that way because how can you not go that way?
Yeah. Yeah. And I could maybe see the move where like ChatGPT opens up a free tier, and maybe it's not the frontier models, but it's a free tier. And then with that, all right, you're going to be served ads as part of the process.
Yeah.
And just try to be as transparent as possible on what's used, what's not.
Yeah.
Just like all the different streaming services that are out there, like when they offered a lower price product with ads, the majority of people or a lot of people have gone that route. And OpenAI, some of their ambitions is to open this up to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Well, if you can offer it for free, but then have it be ad supported, I could definitely see that. Maybe that's a move where, all right, I could pay for it and I'm not seeing the ads and my information isn't used for ads. Maybe on the free tier it is. Maybe there's some middle ground there. I don't know.
I think it's too tempting. I think streaming is a little bit different in that the ads you put on streaming are way more intrusive. Like you stop your show. So it's worth it to spend money on. And there's only so many ads you can put on there. And for a long time streaming, you know, they're starting to innovate with being able to click, but it wasn't the same. It was still CPM based, not, you know, paid for click. And so I think that's a little different than ChatGPT as entertainment because it's more like a website in that you can have ads on there without it slowing down your experience. And so I think they'll keep ads for everybody.
Sure.
Except maybe like, hey, we have like an enterprise contract with, I don't know, a giant, like the government,
Sure.
So you'll get a bunch of accounts at $500 per month per user to not have ads
and not train off of it ad
privacy locked and all that stuff. But I think for a general, hey, even the pro users who use it a lot, like you're still going to get ads, because I think it's like offering a ad-free version of Facebook.
Sure.
Or an ad-free version of LinkedIn is actually an even better example. Like, there's so much value in the advertising there that I don't see any world where if they're going to do it, they're going to do it for everybody.
And this is where I think there's the monthly subscription aspect to these different models.
Yep.
But there's also being the gateway to the internet and whatever I interact with and ask all of the questions to. I just did this last night where I opened up ChatGPT and I said, okay, based off of all my conversations, you're my psychiatrist. Like, analyze me and uncover some deep insights that I wouldn't have even thought about.
Yeah.
And I was reading through it and I was like, that's got an interesting point there. I should probably think about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so it's wild where, like, when we're looking at the ad side, retail media wise taking off and has been so popular and so productive and such a good spot to allocate your ad dollars to, is because you have this really good shopping data that you can use, and I can reach the right people with the right ads at the right time.
Yeah.
And so based off of my Amazon search history, like my actual purchases, you can figure out what I'm interested in pretty quick. But now if you look at like interactions with ChatGPT, and we touched on this a little bit in the last podcast too, like, I don't know, you could almost get a layer deeper. And now if you add in the ability to actually do purchases, plus you have all of these insights on all the other things that I'm interested in or asking questions on or what I'm spending my time on.
Yeah.
Because I'm asking questions for what I'm trying to do. It just adds a whole nother layer of targeting that you can do from the advertising side.
Yeah.
That could be extremely powerful.
And also, just going off a similar thing of right now, we still aren't to the point where it's an agent who does a lot of things for you, like purchasing.
Yeah.
But at some point, is ChatGPT booking my appointments for my haircut every month?
Yeah.
And so as it's starting to do other things for me, it's going to have so much info to the point, it'll know, hey, I'm about to get a haircut.
Yeah.
If I'm going to go bid out, I know this guy's about to get a haircut in a week. Do any haircut companies want to advertise to this guy?
Sure.
Before he goes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's another layer, at least one other layer, if not two, of information that if they want to use, they could.
Yeah. Yeah. Once I start using it it would be my gateway to everything. And that's how I picture these agents in the future.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have my favorite one that knows everything about me. There's going to have to be a high level of trust to let it know everything about me.
Yeah.
And so maintenance of that trust is going to be critical. But at the same time, people get pretty used to giving out their data.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah. Well, wrong.
Yeah. And so it's this interesting aspect where it's like, yeah, if I'm doing a family vacation or I'm traveling for business, so I've got to go to New York, is that I like the window seats. Like, I typically fly on these airlines. Like, here's the hotel that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Here's the typical area. I can book everything. Like, there's so many purchase interactions that are there.
Yeah.
And then I'm asking it for cooking recipes, and then what should I do with my kids after? Like, where should I take them? What's the different options that are going around town right now? And all those pieces together, from an advertising side, the targeting aspects are pretty crazy.
Well, and that's another thing too. Like, some of this info, like with the power of LLMs, like right now, we're still in a world where we're layering audiences and targeting, and it's very hands-on. As we've talked about, like, over time, is that going to go to pay per conversion and it's a black box?
Sure.
Because some of the stuff that you can target, they may not give us all this ability to do ourselves.
Sure.
But if they put it in a black box and another algorithm converts, all these data points it has on you into what is this guy most likely to buy next.
Yep.
And just serves that ad.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And yeah, because I wonder, there's just a lot of data to the point where will they even let you target it?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, the amount of controls that you'd have, I think it'd be much more KPI based.
Yeah.
There's still going to be a key brand safety approach on where I get showed, how I get showed for my products. And the other aspect that drives into it that we've been playing around with a lot too is now what's the ad look like? And so just with the video creation tools, whether it's Zaveo Review.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call it both. Or like even Amazon's new tools that they've got in the Creative Studio to generate different video ads or different display ads. Like you could hyper customize those ads themselves too. And a lot of the tools, they're still progressing. It's the worst it's ever going to be today.
Yeah.
In the future though, like, all right, if ChatGPT knows I have a dog and we're in northern Minnesota, so we're kind of in like a woods layout and everything like that. Like that may not have anything to do with the product, but they could show me a video where it's like I could see myself in that ad.
Yeah.
And just like subconsciously like, all right, that product looked like it's built directly for me because the ad itself was built directly for me and targeted at the exact right time. It's kind of wild where we could be getting.
And if ChatGPT knows your psych profile and knows exactly what forms of rhetoric best motivate you, and I think from the video generation of an ad perspective, I think Meta's going to go there first.
Sure.
Because I think they're going to go to a content generation. I mean, they already are with the fake. I don't know if you saw that, the whole Instagram controversy where they're making fake Instagram profiles.
Oh, really? I missed that one.
I can't remember exactly how it went down. But, I know they see social media as it's no longer a thing to connect with people. It's a content engine.
Sure.
And then in like group chats and whatnot is where you share and have real connections. But so I think they will over time start putting into their feeds more and more AI content that they generate.
Yeah.
Right now it's users generate AI content and upload it. But
and
then I think from there they leverage that to now we start to learn how to make ads on the fly for users, and we start charging pay per conversion because he's talked about that a bunch. That's where they want to go.
Yeah.
And I think all advertisers want to go that way. But
sure.
I think they're going to be the ones making videos on the fly.
Yeah, and then pay per conversion. Now it just gets to effectiveness of the targeting and the ad itself, and it's all going to drive kind of in the same direction there. Yeah. It just gets wild how targeted it could be to surface at the exact right time. And if you get to the point where it's a fully customized ad for you, which is definitely in the cards.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, right now it would just be the time to like process to create a video ad. It's still a lot of processing, still takes a lot of time. If you can get that to be a lot quicker and like generate on the fly as you're going.
Yeah.
Again, there's a ton of brand safety issues there too.
Yeah, definitely. If you're, I assume it'll start with things like, okay, we have this pretty standard format and now we're going to like insert, change the face of the person in there depending on your profile. And obviously there's things there as well of, you don't want to be depending on what you're using to change it, but even just like changing the people to look more like you.
Sure.
Like, will Facebook start doing that in the ads?
Yeah.
Which, that could be all kinds of controversy, but
I
could definitely see that being like the first steps is it's most of the same. We know that we want an ad where they're talking around the kitchen table, but now let's kind of tweak just a couple things here or there based on, they're interested if the conversation started with you're interested in hiking and starts there and leads to wherever we're trying to sell. Or, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could see happening to start with.
Yeah. And then the whole now adding, being able to purchase directly within the LLM itself, that adds on a whole nother layer.
Yeah.
And so if you can simplify the whole process and now you layer ads in there too, You've got a whole unified shopping experience right there.
Yeah.
And again, it takes us back to the risk that Amazon potentially has, where if I have this whole unified shopping experience within an LLM that I'm not going directly to Amazon, and the ad has just sold me on that too, and it's paid per conversion, and Amazon's not open to get that conversion sent to.
Yep.
I don't know.
Just lost all of it. But
yeah.
There's also, we'll see, like, people still like to go and have the intent to shop and go to a place that's for shopping, right? Yes, getting people where they are in Facebook or in Google is nice as a brand, to sell and go get them. But people still like to go to the store to shop in person sometimes. And I think the same thing is they like to go to a website or an experience that's for shopping.
Sure.
And so I think that still will be there.
Yeah.
It's just what percentage of the full market share will be that for sales. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. And does it start eroding into that? Yeah. Yeah. I think another interesting aspect is just like for Google, they have their typical search ads.
Yeah.
Also all the different display ads shown throughout the web. I've noticed I visit a lot less websites lately because ChatGPT or Gemini just answers the questions directly for me. So I see traffic going down quite a bit on the display side.
Yeah.
So that could definitely take a hit. In terms of search, on the pay-per-click model right now, I could see a lot less traffic, but if it switches to the pay-per-conversion, that's where I see LLMs being able to have very highly relevant ads tied in. And so I see a lot less ads, but if it's pay-per-conversion, again, they're incentivized to make sure that they're highly relevant as you go.
Yeah.
Also targeted directly and speaking directly to you. But it's kind of it's a major shift for like Google with their traditional model.
I wonder if we get to a world where now if it's a paper conversion, say I'm Google and it's paper conversion and I know what this person's capacity is to spend on an individual level. Like there's only so much discretionary spending I have in a month. Do I just stop getting ads served to me? I don't think that's true because there's still like brand awareness and things like that.
Sure.
But if it's pay per conversion, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Right? Like I just want to show an ad when I know that person's going to buy, and that's the perfect scenario.
Yeah. You could actually withhold showing ads because it's a sliding scale on too much ads and breaking that trust versus like, all right, they're only going to show me an ad when this is highly relevant.
Yeah. Versus right now, pay-per-click, and if there's pay-per-impression, advertisers are incentivized to get as much out in front of you in as many places as possible without being so much that you stop using it.
Yeah. So I guess key takeaway is like, up to this point, retail media, performance has been great, and we're seeing continuous budget shifts into retail media. And some of the key reasons for it is due to all the shopping insights that we have and all the insights that are there. Where when more people continue to shift to using ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude as their gateway to all product searches and just general searches and everything else like that, and you combine in-purchase data, now I could see that being a huge piece of the advertising puzzle where, it's partly retail media, it's partly other items too.
Yeah.
But I can see huge value for advertisers if you can plug into that ecosystem and do it without violating the trust.
And that's the balance.
And that's the balance. But I definitely see that coming as we go.
Yeah.
As they're trying to open up access for more folks. And the monthly subscription model is great, but if you can tap into the advertising side, like Google's showing that that's a very profitable business model.
Yeah.
And so I think we're going to keep moving there. So from like our agency perspective, we're continuing to watch this. We're expecting ads to show up. When they do, it's going to be really interesting to see what they look like, how they perform. But I could see this as being the next stage from the retail media side where you can really tap into these audiences that look a lot like the retail media side, but maybe even have more targeted information, just how you do that. It'll be really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole interesting world, and it'll all change tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It's still fun to speculate.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sitting down again and allowing us to have some of these are the typical conversations Roger and I are usually having on a Friday. Yep. So yeah, as always, we really appreciate you listening to the Ad Project podcast. If you've got any comments or questions or other items that we should take into account or thoughts on where this is all going, definitely reach out and let us know. And as always, we hope to see you on the next episode.